Romance anime is one of the kings of recycled anime tropes, although it doesn't quite dethrone isekai. That's got number one. Probably always will be. And I don't know about you guys, but I personally can never get enough of romance anime, even though I almost always know how a show is going to end at this point because I've watched, well, over 100 romance anime. Watching over 100 romance anime has given me the notion that it's very, very predictable. You know, the guy gets the girl, it's a happy ending. This is like 9 out of 10 romance anime endings. But it's still my most watched genre every single season. There could be a season of anime. Hell, even like this season, right? We've got the most stacked shows, right? It's shonen or not. Like, dude, think about it. We have JJK season 2. We have Frieren. We have Apothecary Diaries. Those are probably like the top 3. Got Spy Family in there as well. But I'll still have a romance anime or two in my watch list. Even for this season, I added recently, actually a few days before writing this script, this anime called Our Dating Story, the experienced you and inexperienced me, something like that. I added that to my watch list, even though every single season I say that I'm not going to watch romance anime because it's usually all the time the same shit, the same tropes, played out again and again. But in reality, it's not all the same shit. Well, not entirely, at least. It's not the perfect love story every single time because the perfect love story just doesn't exist, no matter how much fiction you want to throw into it. Even Fruits Basket isn't a perfect 10 out of 10 here. But I'm not looking for a perfect 10 out of 10 here. I'm just looking for comfort with the occasional bit of craziness. Let me explain. It's nice to see a relationship between two people unfold in a bunch of crazy, unexpected, sometimes unpredictable ways, and it's almost like a drug that hooks you, that entices you, that traps you. It can be a roller coaster full of emotions that you can't get off, and that's coming from someone who really does not like roller coasters. I haven't been on one since I was like probably 10 years old, to be honest. I feel like even if I did have a girlfriend or was in a relationship with somebody, I would still watch romance anime because it's got love that you just can't really replicate in real life. Romance anime has to be the most r/love, r/relationships kind of story genre that you'll ever see in anime. It's gotta have like the most Wattpad looking ass stories to it, but I think that that's what makes it so great. Action is cool, mystery's cool. All of these other anime genres are amazing. They give you so much more diversity in terms of the storyline and the path that they can go down, right? Way more possibilities here. But romance anime, for the most part, will give you the same kind of overarching plot, right? The same kind of tropes every single season without much variation. Now, I say without much variation because, well, there is still some variation, right? You have Call of the Night, it's got the whole vampire thing going on, or Fruits Basket with the entire zodiac element to that story. But for the most part, romance anime is pretty cookie cutter, and that's perfectly okay for me. I'm a simple guy. You give me a played out, overused trope, I watch it. And I think that having the comfort of knowing what you're gonna get with the storyline, and knowing that it's going to be good or at least halfway decent isn't a bad thing to have. Nowadays, everyone's on the hunt for the most different and unique shows, but not everything has to be different and unique. The genre of romance anime has a nice and easygoing formula that satisfies a solid amount of people, and it doesn't really waver that much from it. You're gonna get a slice of life setting for the most part where the guy meets the girl and he is a shy guy or not, a Chad or not, incel or not. You know, you get it. And the girl is some kind of dede, and I don't even know all of the types of dedes off the top of my head. I'll probably have them listed here. But once again, you get it. These same old tropes keep getting used, and we as audience members keep on watching. You know, you would think that as humans, wouldn't watching the same thing over and over again make us bored? Yeah, it would, but it's slightly different with romance anime. It's different because relationships are just something that we humans cannot stop chasing and yearning for. Doesn't matter how much of a hikikomori you may be, As a human, you have a desire for social interaction and feeling. Romance anime lets you live through that vicariously a little bit. It can play out your wildest dreams about love and relationships. And there's also something for everyone out there. You want some simple school setting stuff, you've got The Dangers in My Heart. You're a furry, you got Beastars. You want mystery or psychological, you've got Bunny Girl Senpai. Sure, you'll get the same, guy gets with the girl ending, but I don't think it's all about what the ending has to offer. The ending is not 100%. Sure, there's been some shows where the ending kind of just defeats and just puts to shame everything that came before it, but with romance anime, for the most part, that's not the case here. The ending doesn't define the entire show. A lot of it is about the journey to get to that ending, and that is probably the most cheesy thing I have said in a while, and by a while I mean probably like 1 week's worth of time. You could also call romance anime a lazy man's way to romance and comfort. Now, hear me out here. This can either be good or bad. So on the good, you get to experience a little bit, at least, vicariously, what being in a relationship would be like without actually kind of having to be in a relationship. And that's gotta probably be the most lonely thing I have said all year. Now, even though that is probably the most lonely thing I've said all year, this kind of leads me to the bad mixed with a little bit of good, right? Yeah, sure, it might be bad that you're not in a relationship, but then again, some people simply just do not have the time, the money, the resources. They just don't got the energy to commit to that in the present moment. But as I said earlier, I think I would still watch romance anime despite being in a relationship, just because of all the different twists and turns that love can take in a fictional medium like anime. And for me at least, it would be pretty fun to witness that. Sure, it's not a bloodbath like Attack on Titan or Vinland Saga Season 1. It's not a wild adventure like Mushoku Tensei. It's not an exciting psychological war like Death Note or Classroom of the Elite. But it doesn't have to be any of those things. All it has to be is that calmness with a little bit of excitement. And as I say this, I'm realizing that you can apply this to every boring genre of anime that there is. Like, for example, Isekai, which people say does just reuse the whole, I'm in another world now, blah, 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 for every single show. But no, even that has its subtle differences between each show. Like, you've got the world building in Mushoku Tensei. You've got the comedy in Konosuba that no other isekai has really replicated. You have the sadness and sorrow, the deep emotional impact that Re:Zero gives you through the main character's suffering. These boring genres, they're not the fun, adventurous, fighting, shonen kind of world that people use as a form of escapism when they're done with their 9-to-5 job or school for the day. But they are the relaxed, calm, flowing ocean waves that you can just sit back and relax to after a long day of work. And once again, that has got to be the cheesiest shit